So I just wanted to say hi and thank you for joining the Intuitive Confident Empath group. This is a space for you to share, your stories. It's a space for me to share with you inner wisdoms that come up. I particularly have wisdom that comes through me when I'm in nature, and I like to share those things. I mainly created the group because I wanted to have a space where women can express themselves, particularly women who feel things and feel things very deeply. That empath, you may know you're an empath, you may not know you're an empath, but you know that you're deeply affected by things that are around you. You can really take on the sadness of the world. And you can also take on the joy of the world, so you could be very up and down. So this is a space to sort of recognize that and have an awareness, and then to be able to find a way to become more confident with that. And this is something that I do with one-to-ones as well, to sort of really help that empath become way more confident and stand in their own power. And that's also something that I'm really passionate about. Sometimes as an empath we just feel that we have to fix things and make things better for people, but we don't have to do that. My sort of not mantra, but I kind of stand by that standing in the center of our soul and being the observer is just so empowering in itself. It creates that awareness that we have of ourselves and how we react to things. We don't always have to have our yes head on and feel that we have to say yes to things that are put upon us, because we want to make things okay, because we care about people and we want them to know it, or because it's just back to that sort of feeling we have to fix everything. We don't. People are quite happy for us just to hold that space for them and just hear them, see them, listen to them, and that sometimes is enough. I'm also very much about creating a space for women where we feel a space to express ourselves with no judgment, no shame, no guilt. Women particularly hold a lot of that inside. We're nurturing, we want to create, we give birth, so we want to give birth to new ideas and be creative, and nurture each other and others. But sometimes we're afraid to do that because of the judgment that is out there, or we feel guilt or we feel shame for every decision sometimes that we make. Again, as women, when we have our children, there's sort of often an underlying competitiveness, whether we breastfeed, whether we don't, whether who is right, who is wrong, whether our children sleep through the night, whether they don't. There's just so many things that we get caught up in the drama of what is right, what is wrong, and all these expectations. And as an empath we feel it even more, and it just becomes so overwhelming. So I sort of began my journey really through meditation and getting in touch with my inner soul and my deepest thoughts, beginning to create that awareness of the personal growth and just understanding what I did a lot of the time. And it wasn't very empowering to me. I would go through quite dark days of overwhelm, and I just realized I was acting like a sponge and taking on and sucking in the world's problems. Sometimes there wasn't anything I could do about it, but I would still hold it within me. But starting this kind of meditation journey, that led me through to finding a lovely lady, Lilith Moon, who's a shaman, and she trained me in online, but through she's in Austria, and that got me in touch even deeper with myself. And as I did, more things began to open up for me, psychically, a lot more clairsentience, clairaudience. I could see things, hear things, as well as feeling things. So all these other gifts began to open up. I was really tapping into my intuition. I'd had them there, but I'd shut them down. And again, a lot of this was because of fear of judgment and what people might think of me if I express myself in that way. So I've kept it hidden. I used to have amazing dreams. I could have dreams of the future almost, particularly disaster dreams when I was very young. I would dream them and then they would happen, and I'd watch them on the news, and I felt because I dreamt it, I'd made or created that to happen. So I would really it just made me really frightened. So I kind of shut that down, but I was still inquisitive and curious and wanted to know more, but I sort of left that behind. So, doing the shamanism, I also did Reiki. I was doing that alongside it, and that to me was another doorway that just opened up. I could feel the energy around me. I realized I could read the energy, and the gift of being an empath and feeling. For me, with Reiki, when I started doing it with other people, I could feel all their pain points inside my own body, as if the pain was my own. And I'm able to release that. I don't hold on to that. And I know that's possible as well, to release that and not to hold on to it when I'm just with people every day that I meet. But I realized that that's what I was doing. I was merging into other people's auras and feeling and taking on that pain and not realizing it. So now I'm very much more aware of that. Excuse me. So yeah, doing the Reiki, you realize how we are all one, or all our energy is entwined as we connect back into source, or your God, your higher self, whatever it is or means for you. So for me, I now wanted to help women feel empowered, particularly empathic women, or women who are highly sensitive to the surroundings around them or things that are around them, and to help them get over that kind of overwhelm of it, to begin to have a greater awareness of themselves, to begin to heal themselves. And often that means putting in boundaries, good healthy boundaries with other people, and look at ways of protecting ourselves, particularly when you begin to work with energy, and a lot of that is standing in that center of your soul and being that observer. That is immensely powerful. And then as you begin to kind of heal yourself, you automatically begin to see, I guess because you don't react in the same way and you don't try to fix things in the same way, and you hold back a little bit, other people around you become more empowered too. So you're almost, then you heal yourself, you heal your family, you heal your friends, and then you begin to go out into the greater world and heal others, just by sorting out your own stuff and not getting so involved, not bypassing and ignoring your own pain, sort of really understanding where it comes from. So yes, I've created this program, or I'm in the process of creating it. It will be ready to go soon as a group program. But at the moment, I work on a one-to-one with people, where you just really get back in touch with yourself and we can look back. We do inner child healing, shadow work, to sort of put all that stuff behind you. It doesn't ever really go all together, because we continually, on this journey of growth, we continually like peel back layers, and it feels like a never-ending kind of journey. But as you peel back the layers, you know, you go in ebbs and flows with life. We go up and down, but you do begin to feel so much calmer, more peaceful, and you can begin to feel the joy, but not like so much joy. Sometimes we take on too much energy of the others, and we don't, you know, we get swept along with that joy, particularly like, you know, sometimes we just don't know our purpose, and we don't know what or where we want to go in life, because we're swept along by other people's kind of joy and what they're doing, and we think, oh yeah, that looks exciting, I'll do that, and then we do it, and it's like another rabbit hole. We never quite get to where we want to go. So if we could sort of sometimes stand back from that, so not be swept along with the joy, the over excitement, and not be swept along with all the pain and the sadness that takes us into that kind of hermit mode, where we just want to hide away, the hideaway hermit, I guess. So as we begin to sort of heal ourselves, create that awareness, we then can move forward into really knowing ourselves and knowing exactly what it is we want to do and where we want to go. And many of you empaths may find that you are the healers. You know, that's why you want to fix people's problems, and because you can feel your other gifts that you might have begin to open up. And you can use those gifts. You don't need to be fearful of them. You can actually use them to help others. So for those that really open up further, they can follow through their journey with me, and I can teach and train. Them the Reiki, which enhances that healing for themselves, and then if they want to, they can go on and heal others as well. So that's kind of where I'm going with, you know, creating an academy. So it's a Soulful Wisdom Academy, because it's about really tapping in with the soulful wisdom, the inner subtle whispers that we have inside us and that's all around us in nature, and to take all that on board and to use it for our advantage and help us sort of get our next steps to where we want to go, to feel more confident in the decisions that we make. And when we have that confidence and we know we're on the right path, it creates, you know, better relationships with others around us, with our families, with our friends. It creates more abundance because we're on the right path and we're feeling it with joy. So you're able to choose the right career for yourself, and that in itself brings in more money, more, so, you know, that fulfilled life that you suddenly start to have. And all in the process feeling much calmer and peaceful and happier. So welcome. I will be adding some guides very soon, just around sort of boundaries and protection, and I will keep you updated with any things that I've got on, any workshops that I do locally. I'm currently running a women's intuitive circle, and I started that yesterday, and I just had a group of beautiful, lovely women, and it is just so empowering to have women supporting others. You know, we've kind of had such 400 years of the witch hunt and women, you know, being forced to, through fear again, to, you know, tell on their sisters, their mothers, their children, their daughters, their, you know, and this timeline and this DNA of fear is inside us, and that's where that fear comes from, of judgment, because we have sort of that embedded deeply inside us, and we have that fear of what other women think of us all the time, and that can stop us being supportive sometimes, or to make those sort of, you know, bitchy remarks that we do sometimes to other women, or judge women, and that's where that competitiveness comes from, as particularly as a mother, and the things and the decisions that we make, and then with that the mother guilt. So that's all stemming from that deep-seated ancestral kind of DNA, and that's the sort of stuff I want to clear out and create this, you know, future place where women can just empower other women, come together. And where, to me, women empowering women is just make the world a much more beautiful place. So yes, sorry, I've made a very long video, but thank you so much for joining in this group and keeping it a safe, sacred container where we, you know, carry on supporting one another. All right, thanks.